podcast. It was a wild night of fights this past Saturday at UFC 287. We saw Kelvin Gastelum get back in the winner's column. We saw Izzy get his belt back. And we found out a lot about a lot of fighters, including Raul Rosas and Rob Font. Crazy weekend of fights. I mean, what were your guys' thoughts on that?
So before we hop into this was my thing I texted you guys about. First off, welcome back everyone to Casual Couch MMA Podcast. Happy Easter to those who celebrated.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Hope everybody's holiday was fantastic. I know we have two parents in the podcast, so I know Easter probably a little bit busy.
Easter Bunny came.
So before we get into the fights, I thought about this earlier because I love warm weather. We're finally getting some warm weather. What is everybody's favorite fight night food?
Ooh,
Pizza and wings.
Pizza and wings is a good one.
Amber makes, they're like homemade nachos. She has a plate. She puts we have like those Tostito scoops.
Yeah.
We put salsa, queso, like all sorts of stuff on them. She puts them in the oven. They come out, man. Bon appetit.
I was about to say nachos and cheese is my favorite.
Nachos.
Next time I come over, there better be some of those.
I'll figure it out.
Oh, by the way, everybody, this is what Brian Bishop looks like.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He got his webcam.
Nah, this isn't him. This is an imposter.
Yeah, it's actually
It's
just
an
some
optical illusion.
That's just some guy we pay.
Yeah. It drinks
He sounds like him. He sounds like him. Looks like him, but it's not really him.
So I don't know why I thought about that. We got nice weather. Every time I think of nice weather, I think of food. And I was like, man, what do the boys eat for like fight night? Because like nachos and cheese is a big one for me, and then chips and hell of a good dip.
Oh, Lawson's, dog. Lawson's.
Dude, Lawson's
Yeah.
all the way. Lawson's all the way.
You want a good combination. Like, I love chips and dip. This is a wild card, and I might be the only one on this one. Soft pretzels and cream cheese.
Oh yeah, that's
Dude.
very rare.
Never
in my
had the
household.
cream cheese. Never had the cream cheese with the soft pretzel.
Put the cream cheese in
I've
the
done
microwave.
Mustard. I've done the cheese.
Soft pretzels and cream cheese, dog. And
I would try
nice
it, man.
cold beer.
Penguin City, baby.
Penguin City, supporting local businesses.
Very
Grizzly
cool.
wintergreen.
Beer in my face.
But
Oh, I got the yummy.
my go-to food would be, honestly, dude, some chicken nachos, like some loaded up nachos,
Oh, dude.
and some wings. That's probably where it's at.
I
The
thought
chicken bites from BW3s, man. Or, I'm sorry, the
yeah.
pretzel bites.
Yeah,
Pretzel bites.
Dude, those are I think I got you on those.
Yeah, you did. Those are good.
that's
but-
how.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny because like when I go to the shooting range, my favorite snack are Haribo gummy. And then I said that one
Yeah.
time, and Brian just stared at me. I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Those are my favorite." And I was like, "It was like
gummy bears.
yeah,
We become best friends.
yeah, it's the same." Yep. All right, so I just wanted to bring
Which
that up.
reminds
I
me,
thought
I
about it.
need
Yeah.
to buy some before I go shooting on Saturday.
I have
All right.
I have the big party pack. So UFC
Party.
287, what a night, ladies and gentlemen.
Really
Wow.
good night.
What a night! I was super stoked. But we'll start at the bottom, and we'll start with Chase, Rosa Jr.
Well, before I get into him, I just want to say, hopefully, you guys did not go with my predictions.
Yeah,
Same here.
Yeah.
So, actually, I want to start with Kelvin Gastelum because,
Yeah, I think we should start there.
dude,
Yeah.
it was so nice to see him get a win, and he looked really, really good, man. It was honestly, that was like my favorite moment of the night, was to see Kelvin Gastelum get a win.
yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, he was.
Dude, he's given us some classic fights, dude. He's a great fighter, good guy, easy to root for, and it was really nice to see him get back in the win column.
Kelvin
Very
Kelvin
emotional
earned it.
after the fight.
Yeah.
He earned
Yeah.
it. It was hard fought. Who's the guy?
Chris Curtis.
Chris Curtis. I want to say Christian. Chris Curtis.
Curtis?
He's salty about it, but I thought Gastelum won. I was
Gastelum won.
Yeah, I was preoccupied watching it, but I feel like every time I looked down to like check, Gastelum was landing or doing something better.
They both landed some shots, and both of them
Yeah,
have
they ate
great
some
great
bombs.
chins, tough guys. I mean, we've seen Gastelum has like a head made of stone.
Yeah.
So-
He's got like a head like a fire hydrant.
He's
Yeah.
taking some shots.
Yeah. Remember that Whitaker fight, dude? I don't know how he didn't get knocked out.
Easy war.
The Izzy,
I don't
Izzy.
understand.
I tell
But
people all the time he rocked Izzy. Like that's people
Hell of
always
a fight.
forget.
Yeah.
Hell of a
He still
fight.
has it. I'm happy he's back. Kelvin, I've liked Kelvin since the Ultimate Fighter. So
yeah,
I'm gonna make a prediction now. I think that fight would be in the Hall of Fame if it isn't already.
Which one?
Gaslam and Izzy?
Gaslam. Yeah.
oh yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see that.
Speaking of
Easy.
that,
Speaking of, they're putting Lawler McDonald too in the Hall of Fame.
About time.
All-time
That
classic
should
fight.
have been in the Hall of Fame the night after the fight.
yeah,
That
That was
should.
yeah.
If you look at fights, honest to God, that fight probably, I think in 2 fights. Remember we talked about this for the one fight I did forget about, but Roy McDonald, Robbie Lawler too should have been there.
Yeah.
Boris Griffin, Stephen Bonner.
and
Oh, absolutely.
That's the fight that changed everything.
yeah, Rory Carlos was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
the end of the round when they're staring at each other and they're just bloody.
end of the 4th round,
That's so
dude.
cold. Oh, it's cold moment.
Both of
Man.
their
Dude, when
noses
John
are
was
pushed in.
When Big John went to Robbie's corner before the 5th, and he goes, "Robbie, you okay?" And Robbie goes, "Fuck yeah, I'm having fun, John. Let's go." Blood everywhere, lips busted up.
Yeah.
Big John just looks, smiles, and says, "Okay."
Yeah.
I miss Big John.
What a
I miss
crazy,
him
what
too.
a crazy
But
asshole, dude.
back to all right, so Rosas. This was it just one of the things people were saying is like this hype train is completely derailed. And I don't know if that's completely totally the case. He's still 18 years old.
Yeah.
He fought a guy who was 25. The experience difference showed. Like the youth and inexperience of Rosas showed big time. He was telegraphing his takedowns. All he was doing was shooting, wasting energy. He didn't strike at all.
Yeah,
It
he's got 2 for 19 and 3 for 16 on
Yeah.
takedowns.
Wow, that's bad.
Yeah, it's just he wasted a lot of energy, and that shows the inexperience. I think that maybe all this hype he's getting got to his head. Maybe the ego was
Yeah.
up a little high. He thought he was gonna get Rodriguez out of there early. And as soon as Rodriguez started stepping them takedowns, he had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
I don't think this loss is really going to be. I'm not saying the hype train's derailed. He has a lot to learn, and it just showed that. And the best fighters, great fighters, we find out what they're like after losses. How do they handle that? So Rosa's next fight's going to be a big one to see kind of the trajectory of his career from here.
I hope he takes some time
Yeah.
to get into his next fight.
I would take some time and I say this a lot. I talk to you guys about it a lot when we talk MMA. There's nothing wrong with going to not full fight camps, but there's nothing wrong with going to train at other gyms. You don't have to stay at
Right.
home. So I feel like, hey, I failed like the wrestling department. He thought he was like, I mean, he was talking about out wrestling Aljamain. But like, hey, you weren't. Like, go. It's okay for you to go down to Florida and train for a little bit, get some wrestling up, you know. But I said it going in. I thought the experience and the age was a big thing. I don't think he's derailed by any means. I think the kid still is going
A lot
to
of
be
potential.
good. Yeah, but
Right.
I think. Listen, it was what, his second fight in the UFC,
Yes.
Mm,
and you pushed Kelvin Gastelum to the prelims.
yeah, for that.
So
Yeah, that's kind of
I want to touch on something on that too. I want to touch on
Yeah.
Rosas and Rodriguez. The biggest takeaway I took from that fight. Did you see the calmness in Rodriguez the entire
Yeah.
fight?
and they were talking
yeah.
that
They were
about it.
talking
dude
about that,
Looked
dude.
like he was walking in the park like nothing was happening. And if you looked at Rosas' face, he was mad the entire fight. There was nothing he can do. And Rodriguez was just
And that's
calm. That's
the maturity.
age and experience and maturity.
Yes.
I want to know what his coaches were telling him.
Well, I think Rosas should take that $28,000 he earns. That's what he made for this fight, and go find a striking coach because he has zero striking.
Dude,
Yeah,
he didn't even
if he
try.
only hit 2 hits out of 19 in a 3-round fight,
He looked terrible.
that's kind of
It was
kind of
tough.
bad.
It was tough to watch because I figured he was going to lose, but I wanted him to do good because I like the young guys. Yeah, I like John
Yeah.
Jones coming up. I liked Paige Van Zant, Sage Northcutt.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, you talked a lot. Like you were setting the bar real high,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Pat said, he was Rodriguez walking in the park, man.
Yeah.
Stay
That
young.
just shows
calm.
Rodriguez is 26, or 25 or 26.
25.
He's young. He's
Yeah.
a young guy.
But
I
it's,
mean, he has a lot of time.
it's the
Yeah, he's got experience.
yeah. But that's when we talk about he looked frustrated. That's when you lose, when you get frustrated. Look at Cody Garbrandt. Like
Prime example.
Cody Garbrandt
beautiful,
My man.
beautiful striker.
is allergic to putting his hands up. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa.
He's also allergic to not letting his emotions get to him in the middle of the fight.
Dude,
Yeah.
he got burned worse than my arms.
Yeah. So, but yeah, props to Rodriguez. I tell you what, he looked good. He looked calm. He was in control the whole fight. I mean, he fought his fight, and hats off to him, man. Looked good.
Do you guys think him being frustrated has anything to do with his age too? Because I mean, we've
Absolutely.
seen we've seen older
He's 18
guys.
years old.
We've seen older guys get frustrated, but like they don't get frustrated like that.
No, he's 18 years old. He's a kid.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we were all
Yeah.
18. We all remember what it was like being 18 and getting frustrated. We just kind of lose track of everything and just start bull rushing into
He's
stuff.
still learning how to handle those emotions, especially in a high pressure situation like a cage fight.
Oh, I mean,
He's
a cage
learning a lot
fight,
about
yeah,
himself.
but a cage fight, yes, but like you're in the UFC on the main card, your second fight. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is we talk about age and we're just now talking about frustration, and Bishop hit it nail on the head. Remember being 18 and we would get frustrated over mom and dad telling us no. Imagine a 25-year-old smacking you in the face, stuffing your dad down. Like, I'm gonna be a bit fucking pissed off too. And when I get frustrated, I cry. So I'd be in my corner like, this fucking guy earned his paycheck.
This guy won't stop stuffing my takedowns. What the fuck?
Yeah. So hats off to the kid, dude.
Well, that's something what Chase said too about his next fight. This loss can either be the best thing to happen to Rosas or the worst. Like Chase said, this is how you respond now.
Yeah.
How he responds his next fight will tell the story on potentially for the rest of his career.
It shows your character, your resolve, your ability. It shows your mindset. And if you don't have the mind, like, you can be the most physically gifted person in the world. If your mindset's not there,
thank you.
it's it. Like, you're not going to win. You have to have that mindset and the discipline, have a short memory, and just keep moving forward and get better. Like, if you sit there and dwell on the loss and let it eat you up, and you just, I mean, some guys crumble after a loss, some guys get better. I mean, we've seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Pat talked about it earlier because we were talking about the Adesanya Pereira fight. I mean, for Adesanya, he was 24-1 before he lost to. Well, he was 22, nothing, 21, nothing, whatever.
Yeah.
Before he lost to Jan. I mean, granted, it was in a different weight class, but he took everything that he learned from that fight and put it into fighting the guys that he was fighting in his weight class. Yeah. And I mean, that Adesanya Jan fight was really good. But you got a guy who's undefeated in the UFC. He's the middleweight champion. And he takes an L against a guy who's in a different weight class than him, who's a really good fighter. He came back from that, started fighting the guys he was used to fighting again, or in his weight class. And he took everything that he learned from that fight, and he just kept getting better and better. Then he went to Pereira, which, I mean, I'll touch on more on this later because we're not there yet. But he took everything from that fight and used it again. And I always think it's weird for a guy who's undefeated and then takes that L for the first time. And then, I mean, not really weird, but like they take an L for the first time and they just crumble because they're not used to losing and they don't know what it feels to lose. And I feel like for Rosas Jr., this L could be a really good thing for him because, yeah, he's 18 years old going in against a 25, 26-year-old who was 8-1 at the time before he beat Rosas.
Right.
He was 7-0 before that L, and I feel like his ego was just way up here because, again, 18 years old, we've all been there. Our egos like this. But I hope this didn't like kill his ego, and I hope that he like really sits down, watches what he did in this fight and didn't do in this fight, and he learns from that.
Oh yeah, back to the drawing board. You know, don't sit on, like Chase said earlier, short memory. Forget it.
And it's always good to go back to the drawing board too. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are. Like Khabib was always learning. Conor was always learning.
I think to touch on that, GSP was the best. GSP said he would reinvent himself after
Yep.
every fight, and then he
Yeah.
started doing
Train
like
with world
gymnastics. Yeah,
Yeah, he would always reinvent himself, and he was not one of those guys like, yeah, I'm on top of the world, I'm the champion, I've beaten everybody. Because we've seen guys like that, and then they just get starved their next fight because they think they're up here, but like
up until his
you
knockout loss,
gotta.
up until his knockout loss to Nick Diaz, George St. Pierre could have been considered the GOAT. But it's because he reinvented himself all the time.
Yeah,
All right.
you
Where
always
you at,
gotta
George?
keep learning.
Yeah. No, I get
Yeah,
your point
it's-
exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
I forget who it was, but they said it perfectly. Like they never think they're up here. Like after every fight, they just think they fought like shit, and they always go and learn something new, whether it be a new type of jiu-jitsu, a new type of wrestling, striking, anything, just to put it in their bag, and then they
It's
can just
keeping
they got more
yourself
things in their
humble.
ammo bag.
I
Keeping
think Matt
yourself
Mayer
humble.
yeah.
Yeah, just keep yourself humble. Like be confident in your abilities, but also know that anybody can get caught. Anybody can lose. There has to be a winner. There has to be a loser, and there's always room to get better and to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always that 50-50 chance you're gonna lose.
So I mean, time will tell. This next fight's going to show a lot about Rosas. I'm curious to see the opponent they match him up with next.
Yeah, 'cause I was thinking the same thing. You can't, now that the kid's got a name, and you guys tell me what you think. He's got a name. He's got a loss now. Do you put him up again? Like, hey, man, your last two fights were on the main card. You're fighting on early prelims now.
I think you'd still put him. He still has the name. A lot of people know him. He is somewhat of a draw, and I mean, he's got a big following because he's so young. You're going to put him probably as a featured prelim on the next one, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
match him up with another wrestler
Or a fight night.
I
Yeah.
would say
Yeah.
either a fight night, like somewhere maybe on the main card for a fight night, or featured prelim, or maybe like the fight before the featured prelim.
Yeah, he's not going to be on the
I'd
main
say
card the
somewhere
next
around.
one.
Yeah, he's
Right.
I don't think. But then again, you never know. Marketing, this and that. He might be there. He might not. I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
What was the next fight on the card?
It
The
Kevin
next-
Holland.
Yeah.
Holland and Ponzinibbio.
Damn, did Kevin Holland prove me wrong?
With
Dude,
Wow, did he
if I
prove
would've-
me wrong?
I would have stuck with my prediction I made on Wednesday. I would have been golden. I switched it on
You
Saturday.
and me both.
yeah.
I had a lot of faith in Kevin Holland because at first he kind of annoyed me with like all the talking. Like that was when they had nobody in the Apex, and
Yeah.
you just heard it all. So it was like, all right, dude, just fight.
Holland.
But at the same time, he was winning.
Yeah.
And then I forget at what point it was, but he said, all right, I'm going to crack down. I'm going to get really good. I'm going to go get really good at wrestling and all this other stuff. And then he came back, and he's just a whole different person.
It used to seem like he didn't take it as seriously as he needed to,
Mhm.
and he's starting to make that switch.
I
And
know, he got super serious, and I love it.
that's where my mind was at coming into this fight with Ponzinibbio. And I will say this: the size difference between those two guys,
Oh, yeah.
the
Huge
length.
difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference. I
Wow.
didn't think it was that big.
So,
But
with that being said, the Switch Up Saturday stream, I did mention a punishment. Me and Bishop won. Me and Bishop picked Izzy.
Oh,
The two of you
shit.
guys didn't. So I thought of a punishment, maybe answer a question doing an impression. But then I said
Okay.
King of the Hill. Chase said he didn't watch King of the Hill. So here's one. Chase, where does
All right.
Kevin Holland go from here? And answer me as Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Of course you give him that one.
Oh, I got one.
all right. Well, Mel, I'll give you the bottom line. I think Kevin Holland gets another a top 10 opponent this time in the upcoming matchup. Maybe not against the Texas Rattlesnake, but I think he gets a top 10 matchup, and I think he keeps improving, gets better, and I think he's going to be moving into title contention after about 2 to 3 more fights. And that's the bottom line. Give me a, oh yeah.
Pat, same
Okay.
punishment. Where does Kevin Holland go from here as the rattlesnake?
That's great.
That's Stone Cold. Well, it's what old Stone Cold got to say. That little mealy mouth bastard, Kevin. What's his name again? Kevin Holland. I think he makes the top 10 fight. I think he goes in there, gets the job done, and his sorry ass goes up to a top 3, top 4 opponent here in the next 2 fights. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Honestly,
hell yeah.
oh, yeah.
What?
Honestly, you guys are actually really good at that. I hope you guys.
I
lose
like this
more.
impression shit.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
I have some stats here for the Kevin Holland fight. It looks like it was a total striking match, and Kevin Holland was like super fucking busy in there.
Yeah,
He was
He's got
active.
67 out of 198, 66 out of 197.
Our statistic
Oh,
guy.
You better-
like
hold on, Pat.
Uh-oh. Loading on, Pat.
Hold on, you're having technical
Your
difficulties.
bad connection on your end, I think.
It was the Stone Cold impression.
There it goes.
Stone Cold impression fucked his internet up.
Yeah, Brian's our statistician. I like it.
I got it up on Google here.
Yeah, Pat, you're still messed up.
Yeah, hold
So, hang on. Let me hang on. We'll give him time to get around. So, whenever he gets back in, we'll go to Pat. But the Holland, wait, hang on. I want to give you a couple more seconds to buffer because it's still freezing. But
on.
okay.
Hold on.
So
Well, here's what I'll do. We'll just I'll mute him until he comes back.
all right.
There you go.
So the Ponzinibbio Holland fight. Honestly, I thought Ponzinibbio wasn't aggressive enough, and the leg kicks he was throwing were landing. They were working well. My biggest thing from him was he turned his back to Holland a lot.
Yeah.
He turned his back to him so much, and I didn't understand. I mean, it was just poor footwork or what he was thinking in those moments. But the leg kicks were successful. He was able to close the distance on Holland a few times. Like, he just wasn't being aggressive enough. And when you're fighting a guy that has that much length on you, you can't look to counter that. You have to push forward and close the distance. And he just didn't do it.
I don't think he thought Kevin Holland was like as big of a threat as what he really was. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's Pat. All right, Pat, what were you trying to say?
I was saying, I'm sorry about that technical difficulty. Kevin Holland looks smooth, man. He looked smooth. I mean, like,
Oh, there he goes again.
it's far better than it's
Oh
looked.
no.
Looked focused. I mean, Kevin Holland put on performance. That was one of
This
the.
was,
What?
what's he used to join the Discord call?
iPad.
All right,
there
Pat,
he is.
your
No,
video's
he's-
going now. All right,
Yeah,
here.
now-
I
Go
don't
ahead,
know
start
what's
talking.
going on.
No,
dude.
you're good now.
We got you.
Perfect.
I think my son's up there turning on, plugging in the Wi-Fi and plugging it back.
See, you got to get yourself the St. Patty's Day cans and get lucky.
There you go.
something. I don't know what's going on.
Penguin
Sorry,
City.
guys. I feel.
No, you're good.
You gotta get
yeah,
the
you're cool now.
Line Prime. Have Prime Internet.
But all right, let's try it again, Pat.
Kevin Holland.
One more
looked good.
time. We good?
You're perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kevin Holland looked smooth. Looked good, and best performance I've seen him. Honestly, I think his best performance. Looked good. Good for
Yeah.
Kevin Holland. Prove me
He
wrong.
looked really
Prove me
yeah, really
completely
good.
wrong.
I think we all had Ponzinibbio. I know I picked Ponzinibbio from the gun. I stuck with him, so I
Kevin
lost that
Holland.
one. Did you have Kevin Holland?
I did. That's my boy.
Bit.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
I think Bishop won the predictions for the weekend.
Because,
I think you did too.
Well,
yeah, but
I
it's
picked
because
I
he did.
picked
Go
I
ahead.
picked Masvidal. Just because Masvidal is my dude, and I like Masvidal.
Yeah, we
Okay.
gotta give some props to Masvidal when we get to that fight because
Yeah, we got some.
Because let's move on to the
we got
next
some
fight
appreciation
where
to
we
show.
all dropped the ball, and I'm so
Dude.
mad because we talked about how much we love Rob Font, but all
Yeah.
of us picked Giannis.
I didn't
I
pick
picked Rob
Giannis.
Font.
Except
I
for
picked Rob
Bishop.
Font.
Yeah, except for Bishop.
What? Well, we have to go back. We're gonna have to go back and fact check
I
Bishop's
picked Rob
predictions, dude.
Font.
Did you pick?
I
Did you
for a
both you?
fact picked Rob Font.
You
both-
guys asked me, and I strictly just said Rob Font, and that was it.
I
He
picked
did.
Rob Font,
He
too.
did. Me and Matt were off.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I had Rob Font, and then you guys
That's
were like,
depressing.
"Let's go live Saturday," and I switched up.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I
switched
switched
up.
up too on it,
Yeah.
and it was just
What a knockout.
See, my son was sleeping on me, so I couldn't get on, but I stuck with Rob Font the whole time.
I read your text to the group. I read your text because as we got to the main
Yeah.
event, I said Bishop said Izzy's got that dog in him.
Yeah, that's why he had that dog collar. He's got that dog in him.
Yeah, so we'll get to that.
Dog.
When we get to that, we'll get to that. But yes, Rob Font,
Yeah.
what a beautiful KO. I'm so mad I switched up. I'll never
So-
bet against that guy again.
the one thing. So Rob Font, man, he was number 6, and here's they were both landing some shots. Like it was
Mhm.
somewhat of a slugfest. Rob Font hit him with that like shovel hook,
Beautiful.
and right on the jaw, man. That was clean.
Would you like the
And so-
statistics?
Read them off. Let's go. Go to
All right,
statistician. I love it.
Total strikes: 33 for 75, same as significant, and 0 for 1 on takedowns from Rob Font. Adrian Yanez, 25 for 54 on total strikes, same thing with significant, no takedowns and no submission attempts.
It's an 8-strike difference, man. That's
So
not
that
much.
was a
but-
round 1 KO TKO in 2 minutes and 57 seconds.
So there
Yeah,
are
that shovel hook was that was a
picture
ball.
perfect. Yeah. There are
He-
2 things that I took away from this fight. Number 1, Rob Font is still for real. He's took out a real legitimate contender and a good striker in Yanez. He has a top 5 matchup coming up. He has to.
Yeah, he
He-
just
Against
So-
who do you think?
Peter Yan.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah,
Rob
that's a
Font,
good one.
Peter
I'm
Yan.
looking at the rankings right now on my phone, and
Yeah.
Peter Yan's coming off a loss, but he's still number 4. Rob Font coming
He got
off
3
a win,
losses in a row.
but
Yeah.
he's 6. So if I'm Rob Font, I'm skipping Marlon Vera, like who wants that fight, and I want the big name. I want Peter Yan. The
Ooh,
third,
that could be interesting.
the-
Marlon Vera.
Yeah, I could see. I think Font could beat him for sure.
Font and Vera
could
would
be
be
Vera.
really interesting.
Yeah. It's
But
either
the-
Corey Sandhagen, who wants to fight
Love
Merab.
Sandhagen.
He wants to fight the number 1 guy. He wants to fight Marab, and he's earned it.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
Rob
yeah, he
Font,
has.
give me Peter Yan or Sugar Sean.
No, not
Yeah.
Sugar Sean. It won't be Sean.
He's number 2. Who's he
Sean's
gonna
fighting
fight?
for a title next.
Sean's number 2?
After
Sean's
Cejudo and Sterling, Sean's fighting for the belt.
I think that's pretty much almost confirmed.
I would love to see Sugar Sean O'Malley be champion, just because everybody would be so fucking mad.
My little skittle-haired rainbow
Dude.
warrior.
I like people talk so much stuff on him, but
I
I
love-
think he's a really good fighter.
Listen,
I love him.
He's a good fighter. He's a
I
very good
mean,
fighter.
he punched a guy in the head for 3 rounds straight. He just kept doing it, and he didn't get
Oh
tired.
man, that dude was a zombie.
yeah, but that guy's a 125er. We got to remember that too. Like that's a tough ass dude. That dude moved
Yeah.
up. Late notice.
Yeah.
moved
Did Chito
up.
Vera have a fight? Oh no.
Cheeto Vera just had a fight. He just lost to.
He just
Right.
lost to Sanhagen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Sandhagen looked good. That's right. That's right.
Sandhagen did.
All right,
Um,
and let's have a quick little Corey Sandhagen appreciation. He's got that dog in him.
Got that dog in him.
He's got that dog in him.
Welcome
That's
to
gonna be our new
Bishop's
segment.
backyard. Who has
X-rays
a dog in him?
confirmed. X-rays
You're ever-
confirmed. He's got that dog in him.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be a new segment.
Bishop. Who on this
But-
fight card has the biggest dog in him?
It's
Yeah.
Adesanya.
yeah, is he on its
But-
Good for Rob Font. Good for
the-
Rob Font.
Love him.
The other thing I took away from that, we were talking about handling losses. Yanez did not handle that well at all.
Yeah.
No.
He he like
Well, he
was
got
wa-
got knocked out, dude.
I know he was arguing with his coaches. He was like, you could tell his whole demeanor. He was walking away from the ref before they were raising hands. Like, look, losing is the worst feeling in the world. Like, losing sucks,
But it's also one of
But-
the best teachers.
but
Yeah.
it is. And at the same time, like you have to show character and just get better, show respect to your opponent. And
Here's
it
the
just
thing. though.
it showed Yanez slightly immature in my opinion. And honestly, the way he looked in that octagon post loss, I have doubts about him moving forward based
Joe
on his
Rogan.
demeanor.
Joe Rogan interviewed. I know I'm bringing this up. He interviewed Alistar Overeem after the Stipe Miocic fight, and and I remember Joe Rogan said, Alistar said, I felt a tap. Okay.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Joe Rogan came out with something, and he said, "From now on, I will not interview the loser of a fight after he's been viciously knocked out.
Yeah.
You look at Giannis, I mean, he was knocked out. That was vicious.
Yeah, he
It
was.
I
He got started.
understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, that man in that moment, I don't know if he's ever been knocked out like that.
He was out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he out of it? Was that really him? I think he was really out of it, man. I'd like to seen his reaction an hour and a half after the fight. Get his, calm down, get himself back. I mean, he took a vicious shot. I mean, it was. I understand where you're coming from. He was arguing with his coaches and stuff, but was that really him, or was it the fact of he was out of his mind? I mean, literally.
Yeah, and
sometimes those guys, when they come out of it, like, I mean, we've seen it like a couple of times where, the ref's on them just trying to make sure they're okay, and they come out of it and they start going after the ref thinking it's their opponent because they don't know. They come out of a slumber and they're like, what the fuck's going on? Oh, this is the guy I'm fighting that's on me right now?
Yeah, that's out of it. I've been to like jiu-jitsu tournaments where people like get choked out and like they attempt to like fight the ref. And if you guys know anything about like small jiu-jitsu tournaments, the ref's usually like just some random guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen a clip. I seen a clip last night where a dude came out of it and he tried fighting the ref, and the dude put him in a chokehold real quick and put him back to sleep.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
he put him back to sleep, and he was walking away with the biggest smile on his face.
But yeah. So what do you guys think? I mean, we talked about Rob Font. It's got to be a top 5 matchup next, I would think.
I'm sticking with Peter Yan.
That's a good fight.
I think I agree with you. I think that's a fight to make.
Yeah, I'm with Matt. I think Font and Peter Yan would be interesting.
Here's a question: what if Font beats him and Yan loses again?
Yeah,
done. He's out of the UFC.
See, that was the question I was going to ask. Is this going to be like the determining factor of like if Petr Yan is really that guy or not?
When's the last time you've seen someone lose 4 in a row and they were still in the UFC?
Jan Blachowicz is the only one that comes to mind.
He lost 6.
How many fights in a row did Cody Garbrandt lose? 3 was 3 or 4?
3.
3.
TJ, Kai Kara France. No, because Munoz.
I think he lost 4 in a row.
4, yeah. TJ, Munoz, Kai Kara France.
No, but he knocked out a Sun Sao at the buzzer in between that. Yeah, so he lost 4. He lost 4 out of 5.
That one when he's hanging on the cage.
Petr Yan loses another fight, especially to a Rob Font. Petr Yan's done.
Well, here's the thing.
And there was not a bigger in this group. I loved Petr Yan.
You were big on him,
man. In the world.
Yeah.
At his time, I thought he was the boogeyman of that division. He was the best in the world, and then he lost. He had the controversial loss to Aljamain, and I think his confidence just dropped.
With that being said, Aljamain is good. And he beat Petr Yan that second fight, and he proved he proved he's good. Now, with that being said, Bishop, does Petr Yan have a dog in him? Or do you need to see more leading up to a next fight? Do you need to see it?
Is he still a pup in your eyes?
I mean, I don't know. Like I think he's just like. Because I don't know how much English the guy can speak. And
dog or no dog? That's what I want to hear right now from you, Bishop. Dog or no dog?
Dog or no dog? Well, I mean,
Old Yeller.
Is he going taking him behind the woodshed?
I mean, I don't. I think he's on his way to the woodshed, to be honest with you.
So,
but like my thing is, I don't know how much English the guy can speak, and I think he's just thinking about that the whole entire time he's fighting. Because I don't know if he could understand who was a Herb Dean saying downed opponent when he threw that knee. Because it happened pretty quick.
Right.
And he just started him real quick, and the fight was done. He got disqualified.
Let's talk about that Oscar-winning performance by Aljamain Sterling on that fight.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Dude, the only other time you can think of something like that, like very accurate, I'm not sure if you guys remember this fight, Rumble versus Koscheck.
I don't remember that fight.
Yes,
The knee
I know what you're talking about.
Dude, the knee missed like this.
Koscheck
like this much, and Koscheck goes,
oh, the match
you guys lose.
What was that?
You froze for a minute. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Koscheck, dude.
That knee
Grammy.
missed by
A mile.
Yeah.
A mile. And then Joe Rogan, like, even says, like, if you go back and watch it, Joe Rogan's like, that knee didn't hit him.
yeah.
Like, it was that and the
And-
eye pokes, man.
John Jones, Mark Hamill.
No, that's
Well,
DQ,
that was a
dude.
12
That's a DQ. Like, you're.
That was a 12-6, but
I was thinking,
sucks.
dude,
Mark Hamill.
the Covington Usman fights.
Yeah.
Usman put on some good performances. He faked
Jones
a
fought
few.
Skywalker?
I mean, Usman faked a couple shots because he was hurt and tired, and he faked a low blow. And I mean, yeah, there's a couple fighters.
I said Mark Hamill. I meant Matt Hamill. Apologize.
Yeah, I was going to say, did John
Well, Mark
Jones
Hamill,
fight Luke
like-
Skywalker?
Yeah,
He
Does
just
he
would
have
have cut
the
his
force?
arm off with a
But
Does
lightsaber.
he
what
have
a
the
great
force?
performance by Mark Hamill. Like, he's great at everything.
Matt
Yeah.
Hamill.
He did the Luke Skywalker voice. He did the Joker voice,
Yeah.
and then he even had a lightsaber in the ring.
Yeah,
he's
good
also
for
playing
him.
Burt Kreischer. He's also playing Burt Kreischer's dad in Burt Kreischer's movie that comes out May 26th.
Nice.
Shout out
Nice.
First Kreischer, the machine.
Shout out Burt Kreischer, my favorite stand-up comedian, or one
I
of
was-
them.
we
Top
always
three.
like we joke around about like sponsorships, but like, hey Bert,
Hey Bert,
Hey, Bert.
Birdie boy,
Bert,
we
Bert,
appreciate
Bert.
you.
hey big man,
Hey,
love
bring
what-
the Kool-Aid.
yeah,
You brought him, yeah, gallon of Kool-Aid.
yeah,
Or in the words of Gordon Ramsay, hey, big boy.
hey big boy. So,
So
Rob Font
next fight,
would love to see Peter Yan Rob Font. Next fight,
yes,
was the
Oh.
co-main.
there's a lot to
And-
unpack here.
Before we get to anything, I do want to say one thing. And just
casual spring break, and now Miami's it's a yearly
Oh.
home.
Yeah,
Real
we'll talk
fast.
about that too. Yeah.
Like, yeah, man, it
But-
was on any given night, either one of those guys could shock the world.
Oh yeah,
Nate's done it.
Absolutely.
Jorge's came close a couple times. Nate sure as hell did it with McGregor. So
well, Jorge's
Yeah.
done it. When Jorge knocked out Darren Till at home,
Yeah,
that
was
was
big.
his moment. You gotta remember,
Yeah.
Darren Till is
The
the
flying
UFC's
knee?
killer.
yeah,
Oh, the
that's when
flying
he
knee,
was.
yeah.
That flying
Yeah.
knee, man.
Ben
But
Askren.
Bishop, Jorge Masvidal, dog or no dog?
Well, he's got that dog in him.
He's got that dog in him.
He's always
got
had
that
that dog in him. He's always had that dog in him.
Absolutely, man.
I
Love it.
love
I
Jorge.
mean,
Also-
Jorge Masvidal was like, anytime I heard that he was fighting, there was like some kind of like, I don't know, like aura about the fight, or just like anything going
you
on.
want to see it.
Oh yeah.
And like,
Violence.
and then the other thing is,
Valencia.
it's like anytime I heard his name, people were just like so afraid for the guy he was fighting. Like,
Game red.
Masvidal was like the fucking boogeyman. Like
Street
anytime I heard
Jesus.
his name, it was just like terror, and like the person's voice telling me that he's fighting this weekend against so and so. I'm like,
I still stand by my fact. Like, I hate when fighters like call themselves like the king of the city. Like, it still annoys me. But like when he did lay his gloves down, I did get a little like, damn, dude. And I get that for a lot of fighters. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same way. I've been watching MMA for so long, to see guys I watched put their gloves down. It's like, oh, dude, I was 14 when he made his debut, and now I'm 29 and he's done. It's like, that's kind of sad. I remember, still to this day, I remember bawling my eyes out when Chuck said, "Hey, that's enough." And I was like, no, like, Chuck was my man, dude. I love Chuck. Me and my childhood friend was a huge Tito fan, dude. We'd get into like screaming matches over that shit. And
Well, that's been fun for Chael and Tito.
But
when Randy Couture walked away, I mean,
yeah, and honestly, for the three of you, it'll affect me a lot because I'm a huge fan of Stipe, but you guys are bigger fans. If he fights John Jones, and that's it, like it's like, damn, that
is gonna be a huge heartbreak.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like a huge heartbreak anytime anyone retires, because like when Khabib retired, and he said, "That's it, I'm done. I'm never gonna do this again." I made it a point to watch that fight because I just had like a weird feeling like this was it. And then when he put those gloves down, I was like, "Damn, dude."
Yeah, two times I've generally been heartbroken. Where Eli Manning, because I'm a Giants fan. Eli Manning, once a Giant, always a Giant.
You sure you want to admit that?
And Diaz, and Diaz, when Nate Diaz was like, "I'm out this bitch," and I was like, You are out this bitch, aren't you?
Yeah, when that happened, I was like, what the fuck, dude?
He called it.
Dude,
Like,
I'm gonna
go ahead, Chase.
talking about Khabib. I did not care when he retired.
I thought it was weird.
I just
I
didn't.
mean, I kind of understand why he did, but
I promised my mom.
kind of with Chase. I was like, okay, cool. Bye.
yeah, but that's a different country. This is
Never
like,
Ferguson.
like I have tremendous respect for what Khabib accomplished, and that I wanted that to be heard for sure.
Right.
But man, I was never a big Khabib fan ever.
No, I'm with you there. I respected him.
Yeah, I respect him. I respect his style, but like outside of Gaethje, Conor, Dustin,
Who'd he fight?
You got rocked by Michael Johnson, like
Rafael dos Anjos. When
But-
dos Anjos was the boogeyman.
Edson
Yeah.
Barbosa.
Barbosa.
well, now we're just giving him a fucking track record. We just try to take away from him.
Well, even then, I'm like, Edson Barbosa was good, like almost a decade ago. I mean, and he's still good. He's still good, but he wasn't. He's a different guy.
Something happens to guys when they fight Gaethje. Like
Dude,
James Vick,
Tony Ferguson.
Edson Barboza.
That was my dude.
Yeah, like something happens.
Kukui.
And I love Justin Gaethje. I just think
Yeah,
he's another guy. We're talking
dude.
about retirement. Like he's like, yo, I got
when he
one
retires,
more run.
I want to. Yeah, when he retires, I'm gonna be upset because, dude, anytime you see Justin Gaethje on a fight card, you know that's fight of the night.
Oh yeah,
100%. That dude, he's got like what 19 performance of the nights or fight of the night things or whatever. He's got 19 bonuses or something.
He's gotten a bonus in every single UFC fight he's ever been in.
Uncle Chael said it best. My man Chael Sonnen. Anytime you have a question at 155, the answer is Justin Gaethje. Period. That's it.
That's good.
Just insert Gaethje. You'll be okay.
He's the most exciting. He's the most exciting
He
fighter
is.
in the sport. He really
if
is.
you put him up against anyone, and he'll show you what that person's really about.
I agree.
Yeah.
It is super hard for someone to like, unless Justin Gaethje stops listening to his coaches and kind of lets his emotions get to him.
Well, that just
He's gonna show you who the fuck you really are.
Yeah, because Trevor Whitman's really good with Gaethje style.
Whitman's
Yeah, he
good
is.
coach.
Yeah.
Whitman, Whitman's a dog.
Another
Dog.
thing about Trevor Whitman, anytime his fighters lose, he's like got the biggest smile on his face. I don't know.
Yeah, dude,
I never noticed it, but like I just seen memes about it. And this dude's like cheesing when Kamaru Usman got knocked out.
Well, I want to go back to the fight. We kind of got off topic, George
We do
Masvidal
that.
and everything. Gilbert Burns. We didn't talk anything really about Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
Burns looked good. Stand up looked good and everything. What is next for Gilbert Burns? What do we think is gonna happen? We all know that he called for the title shot. The guy that's supposedly will fight anybody. Now he's saying, you know what? I'm not fighting until I get a title shot.
So
does he get the shot after? Does he get the winner of Covington and Edwards?
So based off of Dana White's post-fight press conference on Saturday, Gilbert Burns said he demands to be the backup for Edwards and Covington. Right. Dana White was all for it. No mention of Muhammad. And
answers our question.
Gilbert Burns said that if he's not next in line for the title, the UFC release me. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And I think he's getting the next title shot after. He's getting the winner of Covington Edwards.
Matt?
He's going to be the backup fighter regardless. I can't control that. It's acceptable, whatever. You beat Masvidal. I don't see that as a huge welterweight accomplishment.
No.
If I'm Dana, you're fighting Bilal next, and you two are fighting for first place.
Bishop?
Well, I kind of had a thought in my head, but then it kind of went away just from what Matt just said. But I was going to say, like you said, the guy that'll fight anybody, but he's demanding a title fight or he's not going to fight anymore.
Right.
I was going to say that they might give him one more fight after the Covington Edwards fight just to, whatever. But I think he's going to probably either going to fight Bilal Muhammad or he's going to get the title shot.
Okay. So this is what I think is going to happen at 170. I think Gilbert Burns will get the shot. He's going to be the backup fighter. I think he will get the winner of Edwards and Covington. I think Bilal Muhammad will fight Kamaru Usman. I can see that fight happening. Unless Usman is hurt, he can't take it. Usman's body's pretty beat up.
Yeah, he's pretty fucked up right now.
Yeah.
But even if that fight doesn't happen, I see Burns getting a shot. Even though he might not deserve it over Bilal, I think he gets it.
Yeah, I don't think he really deserves it over Bilal. I feel like Bilal just kind of gets like pushed to the back burner a lot.
I tell you what,
you said,
I mean, he's like Benil Dariush.
Yes.
I would like to see Bilal versus Burns. I think that's a great fight.
Mm-hmm. It's a really good fight. But even talking about
clear established number one contender.
Talking about people who deserve it, do you guys think Colby deserves the next title shot?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. I personally think yes.
I don't think so.
Now we'll explain why.
Yeah, start with Pat.
Yeah, Pat, I want you to explain your reasoning.
Colby Covington has been the guy behind Kamaru Usman for how long? He was the interim champ. They took his belt away. Or no, they never took his belt away. They unified it, correct? Or did they take the belt away? When Colby was interim champ.
Yeah, they took
it. Did they take his belt away or did they just unify it?
No,
I thought they took it.
They took it.
I thought they took it.
So they took the belt. Colby Covington, Dana has said it multiple times. If it wasn't for Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington would be the champion at 170 pounds.
Yeah.
Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman 1 was a war. You know, Usman broke his jaw, broke Covington's jaw, got him out of there late. The second time they fought, I can make the argument Colby Covington won that fight.
I scored that fight as a draw.
I had it 3-2 Colby. I really did. I think Usman was dominating him early, and then somehow Colby flipped the switch. So outside, if you look at that, Usman was the best, going as probably the best welterweight of all time. Him and GSP. You know, the only guy behind him that anyone ever thought could stand up to him was Colby Covington.
They took his belt after his nose surgery. That's what happened.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you, Bishop. So I think
I love it. Bishop.
Yes, he deserves it. He deserves it. I think it's earned. I think we'll talk about this later. You know, I think you guys all know how I feel. I think he beats Edwards, but I think it's earned. I think he is.
I don't know.
He is, if not the best welterweight in the world, he's number 2. He's right there.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that.
I don't know if he beats him.
Huh?
I don't know if Covington beats Edwards.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Bishop.
Because I mean, that whole first fight or second fight with Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards was getting fucked up, and he went to his fight. The second fight, he was just every time it went to the corner, after every round, he was just more and more defeated. And then finally, they just said, "Give it all you got."
Right.
And then they finally did it, and he became the champion. And then fast forward to their next fight, Leon Edwards is the champion, and Kamaru Usman's the previous champion.
Edwards looked good.
Kind of fucking dominated Kamaru Usman, a guy who was an active, dominant champion.
Yeah.
But how broken was Kamaru Usman's body in that fight?
They
said he couldn't even run on concrete. He had to run in grass or a swimming pool because his knees were so shot.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too. But then at the same time, I mean, Leon Edwards knocked out the champion and then dominated him. And Colby Covington, when he fought the champion, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. He really didn't fight. He was just kind of standing there.
It's going to be interesting, those two fighting, Leon Edwards and Colby, because I can almost put money on it right now. Colby's not as strong, and he's going to attempt to wrestle. And we just, in that first Kamaru Usman fight, we saw how good Leon is against wrestlers. Like, if Usman can't hold you down, you're pretty fucking good against wrestlers. So I think that's going to be an interesting take on it. Outside of that, this is a good striker versus a guy that strikes a lot. Like, his volume and output is going to overwhelm Leon, and I think Leon's going to overcome that. So I'm kind of with Bishop. I don't know if he can beat Leon. I think a lot of people are saying, yes, Colby's just going to walk over him. I think Leon's
he's not going to walk over him.
Oh.
I think Leon's
people said that about Kamaru Usman. He was just going to walk all over him, and he got walked all over. I mean, he was like a welcome mat.
Yeah.
Chase, I want to hear what you guys say.
I think Colby has the best gas tank in the UFC. I think he has the best pace in the welterweight division. What's up?
No, I'm saying now he does. I think there's a lot of.
I think even against Usman, I think he had a better gas tank than Kamaru Usman.
Colby Covington will have a higher pace and output than Usman did.
Yes.
And I think he will chain his takedowns like he did against Masvidal. And even talk about takedown defense. Masvidal had a hard time taking and keeping Masvidal down in that first fight on a short notice.
Mm-hmm.
Usman said himself, Masvidal, it's not easy to take him down and keep him down.
Right.
Yeah. There's, even on a short notice fight, I mean,
I think
George Masvidal's got that dog in him.
That's right. But I think
our resident dog.
I think Covington beats Edwards. I don't think, and when I say that, I don't think he's gonna like walk over all 5 rounds because Edwards is the real deal. I mean, that's not. I don't want to take anything away from Edwards and what he's done. I mean, he's the champ. But I think that Covington's pace and cardio is the difference in that fight. Like you said, he strikes a lot because he has a lot of output. He was able to hurt Usman multiple times, and I think Covington beats Edwards. And then with Gilbert Burns, back to him, I think he could beat either one of these guys.
I do too.
And that's what makes for such an interesting fight. I think Burns is a guy. Here's the issue with Burns. Gas tank. I think if he were to fight 5 rounds against Colby Covington, if he didn't get him out of there in the first 2 rounds, Covington wins. And with Edwards, I think he would have a better chance of beating Edwards than he would Covington. That's just my opinion on it. But Gilbert Burns is going to get the next title shot. I wholeheartedly believe that. And I would be very, very excited to see him and Colby fight.
Gilbert and Colby's a good one. But like back to mine and Bishop's main point. I like Bilal, man. I think Bilal earned it, and I want to see Bilal get a title shot before he turns into the next Tony. Like,
I think Bilal deserves it. I think Bilal should get the next title shot. But we said on Saturday, it's a business of making money.
Yeah,
he's not a draw. People don't like him. Even people that follow UFC, nobody really likes Bilal Muhammad. I respect what he's done, and he deserves a title shot. But
I tell you what,
nobody's paying to watch him fight. Nobody's paying to watch him fight.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, because he is a good fighter. The dude
is
very good. Real.
Yeah,
he's a very good fighter. Unfortunately, yeah, he's especially when he got with Habib's camp. Man, he looks good.
I think the whole eye poke thing too, when he fought Leon Edwards, kind of made people like say, "All right, fuck this guy," because he kind of went on with that for like a little too long.
That's another Oscar performance.
And like, all right, it was a pretty bad eye poke. But, like, at the same time, it's like, all right, we get it. 3 weeks later, you got poked in the fucking eye. We get it. We all watched it. We've all seen
about eye pokes.
Yeah, talk to Stipe about eye pokes. That guy got poked in the eye, 3 fights in a row, and he didn't
finish them.
Yeah, he kept going. But I think that just kind of turned a lot of people off from Bilal because
it did.
I seen articles. He just kind of came off as a fucking crybaby about it. Like, all right, dude, we know you got poked in the eye. Stop talking about it a month later after the fight. We got it. We've seen all the posts of every single MMA outlet reporting. Yeah, we know. We got it.
Yeah.
With that being said, in the welterweight division, going the way it is, can we please talk about the main event?
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes. Main event time. Who wants to take the lead?
Matt, I want you to.
I want to go first. So
Matt, go ahead. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. Dude, I get animated when I watch fights. If you guys have ever watched me watch fights, I know we were at Bishop's house we were at Pat's house when Diaz fought. One of your guys' houses. And I don't sit down during a Diaz fight. I didn't sit down during this fight. I was up in the room I am now, my small nerd office. I was up watching it. Dude, I don't think he was playing possum, but he turned Alex around. Alex's whole torso turned. And I thought, oh, he slipped it. Like you turn when you slip a punch. I was like, oh, he slipped it. And he was out. I screamed. Dude, I screamed. My wife yelled at me. She's like, what are you screaming? I screamed. Like a little, not even like grown man. Like, ah. I was like, ah. Like, scream, dude. I didn't call the finish the way I wanted to. I had a feeling Izzy was going to hurt him. You said TKO in the third. I think.
I did say TKO in the third. I won a performance by Izzy. He threw everything he had in that one shot. I like Izzy. So my thoughts on Saturday night's main event were how beautiful. How beautiful.
Let me ask you a quick question. Do you think Izzy's got that dog in him?
Well, Bishop, if we're going to go off stats, I've seen his blood work. He did get a CAT scan before the fight. During his CAT scan, they did see something abnormal. I'm going to assume that was a dog.
You know why?
It was
did a CAT scan on a straight dog.
It was confirmed yesterday. It was a dog, and he definitely had that dog in him.
So,
well, Bishop, what do you think on the fights? think on that
Okay.
fight?
Well, I want to start off by saying Izzy Adesanya's got that fucking dog in him.
There
I
it is.
think
Confirmed.
my prediction started off with a knockout, but then I kind of went in with he might get the decision. And like I was talking about earlier, Adesanya is that guy who just he keeps learning, and he, like I said, he took the loss from Jan. He learned from that, brought it down to his weight class and the guys that he fights, and then interesting enough, I seen it pointed out on a couple MMA outlets that he was in basically the same situation, the same corner. It was the same punch that cracked Pereira in the first fight. But it just goes to show you, like him not even knocking him out, just fucking starching him. Starching Alex
Dude.
Pereira like the way he did, it just goes to show you that Adesanya really is that guy, and he
Mental toughness to the max.
definitely deserves to be a champion. I mean, I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram or any of his social media.
Yeah, I do.
But just
Don't, because he's so cringy.
oh yeah, that too sometimes. But like, I mean, if you just pay attention to him, that dude, he is like the most confident guy in the world.
He believes
mean-
in
Well, I did
himself
say that
and
going into that fight. He never
Yeah.
lost his confidence.
Yeah,
So-
that dude. I mean, he could get fucking knocked out 6 times in a row. He's still gonna be confident and thinking he's that guy. I mean,
Yeah.
his mental fortitude is just way up here. Like
that's what champions are made of.
Yeah.
and that just goes to show you like what Israel Adesanya is, because I mean he had the same punch on Pereira that rocked him in the first fight, and he learned from that.
5
You
more
know,
seconds.
he just, I mean, if he would have had more time in the first fight, he would have beat him. But
And
this
we saw
time
that Saturday. That
Yeah,
proved
5
it.
more seconds.
this time he had more time. He learned from his last mistake, and he finished him off. I mean, Israel Adesanya is really that dude.
I
mean,
you said it 3 times. He is
yeah.
though.
Yeah,
He
I mean,
is.
he's
He
got
is.
that. He's got
He
that
is.
fucking dog in him. I mean, I've heard so many people talk about Israel Adesanya saying, "Oh, he's just a showboat and flashy, whatever." He's not. I mean, that's who he is. I mean, he doesn't change like from the press conference. Well, it will go from fight camp, press conference, weigh-ins to the fight. He doesn't change. He stays who he is, and
Yeah.
he incorporates his personality into his fighting style, and that's what makes him so great. I mean, the guy just every time he shows up, he puts on a hell of a fucking performance. And I
Yeah.
know like his past couple fights, people saying he's boring and all that. He
But he
took
wins.
what he took what
He
he
ain't
learned
boring.
from Jan Blachowicz, and he's being more. I wouldn't say passive, but he's not just
Calculated.
yeah. He's being more calculated, which is a good
He's
thing.
being smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
which
yeah.
is a good thing because you can only take so much damage as the
Right.
years go on. I mean, we've seen it across every single sport. Guys in football, guys in basketball, some guys in baseball, hell, even soccer. I mean, they can only take so much damage to their bodies when they're just because you got these guys who say, "Oh, I did this at 25. I'm gonna keep doing it till I'm like 35." And by the time they're 35, they can barely walk. They can barely say their fucking names half the time because they're just so beat up.
Drunk.
They're just so beat up.
That was a big
So-
thing. Was a lot of people were saying before. You guys, Pereira brought back contender Izzy, and contender Izzy is a lot scarier than champion Izzy.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah,
So,
I agree with that.
Chase, what's your
You want
your
to
breakdown?
you want to close this one out, Pat?
I want to close this one
All
out
right.
'cause I have a
All right.
very interesting take on this fight.
All right. Well, I think that. Well, I want to start by saying this. I do not like Israel Adesanya at all. I don't like him at all. I tried watching his post-fight press conference. 45 seconds in, I'm like, I can't with this dude. I can't stand him. That being said, I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He is one of the best fighters. Period. In the middleweight division, he is one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. And I did not think that. I thought Pereira was going to win, and I thought Izzy was. I thought that was his kryptonite.
Rob said in the YouTube comments, "Rope-a-dope." He rope-a-doped.
Yes, he did. Good
Very
call.
correct.
Yeah. And so looking at that, one of the things was, Pereira was more aggressive to start, worked a lot of good leg kicks. He had Izzy pressed up against the fence a lot more often early than he did in the last fight. And I think looking back at it now, Izzy expected that. And Pereira walked him down. I think Izzy was hurt to some degree. I do.
Yeah.
The body shot and then that knee landed. I think Izzy was hurt, but Pereira got reckless chasing the finish and got caught with his hands at his waist. Izzy put every part of his body into that right hand.
Yes, he
Everything he had was in that right hand. And I was talking to you guys earlier. It looked like Izzy was a little bit bigger in this fight too.
Yeah.
He looked a little bit more mass on him.
He looked monstrous.
Yeah, he had said he there was no sleeping. He had said going after fight night, he had said I was on the grind 24/7. So he looked bigger, but it was because of work, just hard.
Yeah,
Right.
no, look, he went out there and he got the most important win of his career and cemented, even more of his legacy than he already has. And tremendous respect and hats off to Izzy for being able to overcome and not just knock out a guy. He flatlined Pereira.
Yeah.
And I just think it shows that Izzy has the mental fortitude and toughness to beat anybody and overcome anything. And like I said, I'm not a fan of him, but he is a true champion. He's one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. And Saturday proved that.
He took some notes for John Jones and a mental fortitude.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy, and their rivalry, the build up to the first fight, the build up to the second fight, is the same build up you get in a movie. This guy, this giant man, walks into the UFC. He beats 4 people?
Yeah.
Izzy had beat 8 before the title fight, but the rivalry storytelling, and then it's Creed versus Rocky. Creed beats him the first fight. Rocky beats him the second. If we're not going to see a trilogy, those fights are beautiful. Come on, I need the trilogy.
Yeah. Well, Pat, go ahead on this.
Yeah.
Close this out.
I want to break down the fight from the very beginning. I agree. Alex Pereira was, at first, there was a nice feeling out process. Pereira was damaging Adesanya's front leg, man. He was landing some vicious leg kicks. And I could see Izzy's calves were starting. I mean, Pereira was just constantly attacking. Adesanya landed some leg kicks of her own. So, but them leg kicks were brutal. So it was a feeling out process. The beginning of round 2, that's when they opened up. When they opened up, I honestly thought when that happened, I'm thinking, okay, Adesanya is going to get a little careless here. I thought Pereira hurt him then. But I thought Pereira hurt Adesanya. Adesanya got composed, kept fighting. So fast forward to Pereira getting Adesanya against the cage. I think Izzy was hurt bad. I really do. I seen that right hook to the body. Had Izzy not have landed that shot, Pereira gets him out of there. Izzy was hurt bad with that right hand of the body, man. Huge. Came up with the knee, and now we get to the knockout. Alex Pereira got excited. He thought Adesanya was hurt. Adesanya was hurt. He made a rookie mistake. Left his hands down, and Adesanya landed. He says it's a shot from the gods. That was a haymaker from hell.
Yeah.
He landed the perfect shot. And here's the other thing, what really knocked him out, it wasn't necessarily the first one. He hits him with the right. He turns his body. Adesanya came back and nailed his ass with another one. And then if you watch, the left hook behind it. And then when Pereira's head bounced off the canvas,
and
that's what knocked him out. And the hammer fist.
Dude, it was a beautiful knockout. It really was.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
the celebration, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, the arrows. The arrows.
Yeah, that was
That
Beautiful.
was
that-
nice.
That was such
was-
a big moment for Israel Adesanya because I mean that dude, like I said, all the memes I seen, like this guy, like if Israel Adesanya became like a really good cook, Alex Pereira would be trying to be better than him. If he went into golf, Alex Pereira would be right there just
Yeah.
following this guy.
right.
But
What'd
like,
you guys-
It just,
that moment for Izzy Adesanya, it was a huge fucking moment.
What'd you guys
It
think
was
of
huge.
Izzy taunting his son?
I didn't like that.
Love
I
it.
don't
Yeah.
like that.
Love it.
That's your son, dude. You know,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. You know, his 10-year-old son did to him years ago, whatever. Still a little kid, man.
The
Come
ol-
on.
The
He said
ol-
old enough to crawl, old enough to brawl.
The only MMA son we never disrespect is Max Holloway's son, Rush.
Yes.
He's
Yeah, you don't-
he's goated.
Yeah, he's
Right.
a goat.
He's a
No,
goat.
But I
but
also wanna-
I
wanna
didn't
go
like
back
when
to-
Izzy did that. I'm not for that at
No.
all.
Yeah.
Not
so I
doing
want to go
to a
now.
kid.
The big question. The big question. Dana White and Izzy, they're pushing Pereira out. They're
Oh,
pushing
yeah.
the 205.
They don't want to
Yeah.
take the chance of Izzy losing the belt again.
And honestly, and I agree with you there. And honestly, before today, I thought I said, you know what? Maybe Pereira does go to 205. Until I seen the tweet that Pereira put out and said, I don't appreciate you taunting my son.
Yeah, I just seen that before we started.
Pereira wants that fight again.
Yeah.
I don't think I seen a video of them after the fight, back to back. They were both, they were respecting each
hugging
other,
and shaking hands.
hugging each other. Izzy saying, "Hey, you are a champion. I'd like to train with you," and this and that. I don't think Pereira's seen the taunt yet.
No, not at that time.
Pereira
Well, if he
wants
would
to
have,
see that.
if he would have seen the taunt at that point, he probably would have fucking knocked him out backstage.
Pereira wants the trilogy. Adesanya don't want that trilogy,
Neither
and neither
does
does Dana
Dana.
White.
But it's all about what Uncle Dana wants.
Uncle
Well-
Dana is not gonna let that trilogy.
But then again, at the same time, like we've all said, Alex Pereira is huge for that weight class.
Big dude.
He is.
Big
He is.
He's a massive guy.
He is.
And
But when you're
like,
motivated, Bishop,
Oh yeah, when
You're
you're motivated.
I want to see the trilogy.
Yeah.
Me personally,
I do
they're
too.
1-1.
Yeah,
They're
I
one
wanna
and
see
one.
it.
I think it makes the most money in that division. I think it makes the most money in the UFC right now.
Well, and
However, I don't think it happens.
we talked about it. I asked you guys this question on Saturday. I'm like, when I asked you, do you think Pena deserves a trilogy with Nunez because Nunez dominated her in the second fight? If you're giving Nunez a trilogy, how could you not give Pereira the trilogy?
Yeah.
You know,
right.
I mean, it's just if you're giving that trilogy to
And
Pena,
who else is there? Who else is there in that division? Adesanya
Well,
has rolled that
Yeah,
entire division.
he's went through
Except
everybody.
Chimaev.
the only person you guys know this. I mean, I was in Houston. I was there for that second fight with Whitaker. I still think Whitaker won that second fight.
Yeah, I mean, you can run a trilogy with Whitaker, but I keep hearing Chimaev. First off, Chimaev's not even ranked at 185. He's ranked at 170.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
Chimaev hasn't. So I say the trilogy. I'm for it. I'm gonna go around the table
I'm
here.
all for it.
I'm for the trilogy. I think the trilogy needs to happen. Matt,
I think we all want to see that.
I'm with the trilogy. I want to see. I think those fights are beautiful storytelling. With that, I think, and we all talked about this Wednesday and Saturday. We keep saying Pereira is Izzy's kryptonite. I feel when it comes to MMA, Izzy is
Not anymore.
Pereira's kryptonite.
I
I think I think we're getting the trilogy.
I wouldn't.
I think Izzy takes him out.
It could. You know what? Before Adesanya knocked him out, I was the guy saying he is Izzy's boogeyman. I was
Yeah.
saying that because I believe that. And you know what? I believe that these guys. Another thing I want to touch on: the high level fighting these two are. These two, Adesanya and Pereira, could be the two best kickboxers, maybe top 10 in the world.
Bishop will
God,
understand
are they
this.
good?
Bishop, you'll understand this more than anybody when it comes to Pereira and Adesanya. They're Naruto and Sasuke, dude.
Oh, you're bringing your anime into this.
Like, but they're
Goku and
Rocky-
Vegeta?
Goku
It's
and Vegeta.
just-
Goku and
It's
Vegeta. Naruto,
I don't know
Sasuke.
any of this stuff.
it's Yusuke and Kuwabara.
Yeah, like they're two entities that are just gonna continuously meet
Yeah, and
unless one goes to 205. If not,
but then again, What if fucking Izzy says, fuck it, I want to go back to 205 and see if I can
Well,
do it.
He
Be double
talked about
champ.
that.
Well, he did, but here's what I want to say too.
What if he
I don't
does
know
it
if you guys
against
saw.
Pereira?
Jan Blachowicz wants to fight Izzy at 185. He
He
said Izzy
can't
came.
make 185.
Oh, dude, he's
I'm just
huge.
saying, Izzy came up to 205. Jan said he would go down to 185.
Dude, I don't think Jan
That's
can
gonna
make
t-
195.
That's gonna take him some time. I mean, he's a
Jan's a
big
big
boy.
boy.
He's a
So-
big boy.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I like to see him at
if he
185.
thinks he
to
can
see
make
what he looks like.
185, I mean, like that weight cut, I feel like would deplete him so
I
much.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, my hot take. I think Adesanya would rock him at 185.
I don't
Yeah.
see.
I think the speed difference would be pretty substantial.
He would hurt.
Because-
I mean,
he would hurt
even-
Jan
And
Blachowicz.
the
Even
power
at-
would be evened out after a weight cut like that.
Yeah.
Even at 205 for Izzy, I mean, he normally walks around
Mm-hmm.
that weight.
He's like
That was-
Jan walks
200.
around about 228.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't nothing for him
I-
at 205.
No.
That wasn't nothing for him.
No, he doesn't have to
Right.
cut.
Oh,
No.
he just has to show up.
Yeah, I don't see the Polish power hanging around for 185. To be honest.
No, I agree.
It's a
I
lot of
agree
weight to
100%.
cut.
Plus, he's getting older too. He's like,
Yeah,
I think
that's-
he's 38, 39.
Yeah, because you're
That's the
you can move down, but like those guys are gonna be so much faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Izzy's quick.
So the speed difference would be
Ooh, is he
would be huge.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Matt.
Well, Chase has breaking news that he thought no one knew about, and then Pat knew about it. So
No, I didn't. Hang on. Because none of you. Usually, whenever there's a fight, it's immediately in the group chat. Nobody texted it, so I'm like, I saw this earlier. I'm like, I'm gonna keep it to myself. And
busy
today.
doing trees, dude.
but you guys, busy. Get out
I
of
thought,
here,
I,
bitch.
thought, I thought you were gonna show up at lunchtime, but you didn't. You're busy
Nah,
doing garbage.
I was busy. But anyway, so UFC 294, Shemaev versus Paulo Costa in Abu
I
Dhabi.
like that
UFC
fight.
294.
love it.
I think that's a good first fight at middleweight for Shemaev.
hmm
It's a good first fight at middleweight. He's gonna, Costa's a big, strong dude. We're gonna see, Shemaev's been able to ragdoll 170. So this is gonna be a very interesting fight. Costa,
What's-
he throws haymakers, and
What's
They said he's-
Costa's layoff? Been a year and a half? 2
Something
years?
like that. Yeah,
Two
he
years?
hasn't fought in a while.
He hasn't fought since Izzy. Or no,
No, he fought-
Marvin Vittori.
Yeah, I was just saying he
Right.
fought after that.
yeah. So
Signed
I
a
mean,
big ass contract. I know that.
who do you think? We'll go around. I'll tell you who I think wins.
I'll go quick.
We go ahead. Who do you guys think wins?
Oh no,
Well, we'll
Paulo
circle back
Costa beat
around.
Luke Rockhold.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was in. That was on the Edwards and Usman card.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but who do you guys? Shemaev, Costa. Who do you think?
Can I answer real quick? So I got to step away for a second.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm gonna go Paulo Costa, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right.
Does he have that
Matt
dog in him?
has-
We'll never know.
Dog.
I'm gonna take Cosmot.
Chase. Or no, I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
There's no reasoning behind it. I think Cosmot. He's got
Early gut feeling.
Yeah, like Paulo's strong and it hits hard, but like he looked like shit against Izzy
And Rockhold.
and Rockhold. So Cosmot, he's got.
But they were
something to
saying
prove.
the altitude had an effect on a lot of fighters on that card, though,
Yeah,
with Rockhold and Costa.
I'm still gonna take Cosmot.
Okay. Pat, what are you thinking?
Gut. I'm gonna roll with Chimaev on my gut instinct. I think Chimaev's wrestling. Just gut feeling. We'll definitely see more when the fight gets closer. But first impression, I'm gonna roll with Chimaev because of the
Ooh.
wrestling.
Real quick, we just got breaking news. Question.
What's up?
Question from the chat. How do you think heavyweights like Tank Abbott, Dan Severn, and other heavyweights from that timeline match up against today's heavyweights?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Back
It's a
in the
different
day,
level of fighter.
I'll just
A different
I think
level
we
of
should leave
fighter.
it just like that. Chase had the best answer. Not good.
Not good.
so
Respect to all of them.
heavyweights today
More well-rounded.
know more shit. They know
Yeah.
jujitsu. They know high level
I
boxing.
know jujitsu.
Back in the day, it was just like, "Ugh." Today it's like Stipe's a Golden Glove boxer.
Yeah.
You can't tell me other heavyweights back in the day were. outside of
No.
Ken Shamrock, like, but he's special breed.
It would
Beat you into a
any
living
of them
death.
guys. Dan Severn. I love Dan Severn, all them guys. I'm just gonna leave exactly what Chase said. It would not be good. The game has evolved. It would not be a
Yeah.
good day for you guys.
Yeah.
But my pick, I'm going Costa because
Okay.
we saw Burns gave Shemaev just about all he could
Problem.
handle.
Yeah.
That's a 170er. I mean, that's a
That was-
170-pound guy with, like you said, dynamite in his hands at that weight class.
That was
Burns
honestly
able,
his first real fight. really.
yeah,
Mhm.
and Burns was able to, give him problems on takedowns. He was able to get back up. He was able to piece him up on the feet, move up another a weight class on a guy that's your size,
Yeah.
the same weight. Just I think it's going to be a big adjustment for Shemaev. He's not going to be used to that challenge. And I'm saying
Yeah.
I think he could be very successful in 85, and he could win this fight. I want to be that
Right.
clear on that. But I think Costa wins. I think that Shemaev, it kind of like Rosas. You think he's going to run through everybody. Shemaev thinks he's going to run through everybody, and
I don't like
Shemaev.
Chimaev. I want to make that clear too. I am not a Chimaev fan.
No, I'm not either.
I think he's cringy. Just sometimes it's
Yeah.
he's like an
I'm not either.
overhyped, crazy wannabe Khabib.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
like he's like really
Not a
like
big
Who
fan of
doesn't
him.
like Khabib for some reason?
I
I
feel
like
like
Khabib. I like Khabib.
I'm
This
cool with
guy, on
Khabib.
the other hand,
No,
this guy just
Cosmo
I want-
hates him.
I want.
But hang
Yeah,
on, I'll step right back, but I think we should start getting into some these questions pretty soon.
yeah, we're gonna
Oh,
have.
yeah.
I agree.
I feel like Shemaev's. I really can't say he's full of himself. I mean, he has proved he can fight, but like, who did he really fight before he fought Burns? I mean, he picked up Li
Tomato
Jingliang.
cans.
He
Fought tomato cans.
he picked up Li Jingliang, walked him to his corner, talking to Dana White, and then slammed him down, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean,
And then he only had he had either like no hits or like 1 or 2 hits before
Right.
he fought Burns, and Burns fucking pieced him up.
Tell you what, though, Chase has a great point. Though this is gonna be a tough test for Chimaev.
Yeah, this is gonna show if he's
Oh.
really it or not.
I just think his wrestling is that
He-
good. His grappling is that good.
yeah,
I mean, he's strong, no doubt. He's
But
really strong.
because we just got that's at UFC 294.
Yes, that's a while away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
just got
October?
UFC 287. Like, you got so
That's
much time
October?
to work your wrestling.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should be October.
I think we should get into some questions. I have some questions from some people. Matt, you got any questions? Bishop, Chase.
We can do questions. I'm down.
Actually, the questions I had, like we kind of already answered. It was Izzy hurt? Is Rosas hype gone? Do we see the trilogy between Izzy and Pereira? And does Burns or Bilal get the next title shot? We kind of answered all that stuff.
Let's start.
So
Chase, go ahead. We'll start. We'll make them quick. But go ahead, Matt. Before you go, I think we should answer them all, but just make them real quick.
No, yeah, because here we'll go with my questions. So we
Sure.
already did the favorite fight night food. We talked about this last week. I wrote it down. I just remembered today. Fighter downfalls. The best of the best to now not being so good. I know Pats will be Tony Ferguson. Bishop, you say Cody Garbrandt?
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a guy who the downfall. Peter Yan.
Yeah.
Peter Young.
Yeah,
Peter
so-
Young.
That's one I really didn't think about until today when we talked about him.
Chase.
I mean, honestly, I think Garbrandt's the first one that comes to mind for me. He really is. You go from dominating Dominic Cruz to losing 4 out of your last 5.
Yeah.
And then
That's
having
someone-
no chin at all.
I'm gonna go.
Dude, it's not even the chin. He doesn't put his freaking hands up. He gets caught clean every time.
Yeah.
Drives me
There's no
nuts.
I'm going Alistair Overeem for my pick.
Yeah,
Dominant,
that's a good pick too.
dominant
good one.
K1 boxer comes in. That event where he came in to fight Brock Lesnar was built up beautifully.
Oof.
Yeah.
And
Steroid Olympics.
Bro, his
yeah.
biggest opponent was USADA.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna
It
take
still
Alistair.
is.
And then another
Next question, Matt.
Another question I had is, what's everybody's fight night like? What do you do the day of a good fight night? I'm talking like cream of the crop, your favorite fighter versus the number 1 contender, whatever it is. How do you spend that Saturday afternoon, morning, and night?
All right, I'll
Bishop,
kick this
or
one
go ahead,
off.
Chase.
So, for me, like when Stipe fights, I have to watch that fight at home because I get so
Hey,
wild. Like
Yeah.
you walking around
I'm literally
G-dubs.
I pace around my living room. I'm jumping up and down. I've lost my voice during a Stipe fight.
Mm-hmm.
So like during that, dude, I go out, go to the grocery store early in the afternoon, get whatever food I'm making for the day. For the fights, I sit. I don't even sit. I stand and pace around my living room and watch the fight.
Yeah, you did that.
Bishop?
Yeah.
Like a regular like fight card that's not in Abu Dhabi. I pretty much just go about my day like normal, and then the day before, a couple of days before, I have some friends or invite some friends over, or whatever. But I think the best one that I had was the last card in Abu Dhabi. It was when I was still living at my mom's house. It was at 10 a.m. That's when it started, like the early prelims.
Mm-hmm.
He came over, and I wasn't expecting him to bring his French press, but whatever. We had coffee, made a fucking like fantastic breakfast,
What a day.
and like
Who came over?
dude,
Press. Who are you?
I asked him who he was when he brought over a French press mouse. It's like, is my Mr. Coffee not good enough? But
You know why? Because you're not a dog.
yeah, he don't got that dog in him. My
You don't
Mr.
have a
Coffee
dog
got
in
that
him.
dog. My Mr. Coffee, my Black Rifle Coffee has that dog.
I
Dude,
agree.
I just
Coffee.
need the
Some
beans.
good
but-
stuff.
Oh, bro.
But that day, we had fucking coffee, fucking great fucking breakfast, and the fight started at 10. That was like one of the greatest like roll-ins to like a main event card that I've had. But like my
being a
my
football fan on the
normal
West Coast.
yeah, but my normal thing is like I'll literally just go about my day. Like I'll play games until like everyone starts showing up, or I got to go get the pizza and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll order pizza and wings in the morning. If anybody wants me to go get drinks, I'll go get drinks. So let's just bring your own. If you don't want me to go get something for you, and then everyone comes over, you sit there and just fucking hang out and chill, watch the fights.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, Bishop. When it comes to like just the regular fights. If it's not a favorite guy or whatever, like I ain't gonna lie, even Saturday I was hype. Saturday I was hype, But for an everyday fight card, hey, this and that, I'm pretty chill throughout the day. Saturdays I like to go to the gym, get stuff done around the house, and usually I'm at home just hanging out. Sometimes Amber will watch the fights with me, and then she passes out on the couch, and I have to turn up the volume because she's snoring and shit. But on
you better hope she doesn't see this.
I don't care. But,
She's not
but
subscribed. We're
for
good.
like Stipe fights, the two Stipe fights I remember the most, for me, besides the ones I went to and seen him live, when he fought Ngannou the first time, and the second DC fight. That first Ngannou fight, I felt like I was wired from the moment I woke up till that fight ended.
Yeah.
I was on edge. I felt like I was there in the fight. It was just nuts. Like I was so hyped.
Your heart was pounding.
It was. I was screaming. I was yelling. It was nuts. And then I remember the second Cormier fight. I had in my old house over there in Warren. I had my neighbor over, and before the fight, DC kept saying, Stipe is just not good enough to beat me. Okay, so Stipe knocks out Cormier, and all I remember is I get off my chair and I just start screaming, "Not good enough, my ass! Not good enough, my ass!"
Yeah.
My neighbor's just looking at me like I'm a lunatic, but I'm just screaming at the TV. Man, that was insane, dude. It's hype. Like I'm nervous. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's like I like to watch it by myself or with people that are on the same side as me. But
dude, the second Stipe DC fight, I watched in a hotel, and I woke up the people above and below me because I was jumping. I was like, and probably to the sides of me, everybody. I was literally jumping up and down.
Yeah. So
Matt, what about you? What's your everyday?
I'm the same way as Chase, bro. Like if Diaz is fighting, I'm watching that shit in my house, in my game room, by my lonesome. The day of a big fight night, I wake up, I go, I'm like, Chase, go to the grocery store. Whatever I'm cooking for the day, I'm grabbing that.
Yep.
I'm grabbing my snacks, grabbing energy drinks, a couple things.
Lifesaver gummies.
Yeah, Lifesaver gummies.
Gummies.
Hit me up, bro. I've been munching on this bag all day.
Put them up.
But I usually cause I can't wait. It's one of those things like, fuck, I can't wait till fucking 10
It takes
o'clock.
forever.
So I watch all the embeddeds, the countdowns, old embeddeds,
Yeah.
old fights. Especially,
Yeah.
like I said, if a favorite fighter of mine, like when Izzy was fighting this Saturday, I was watching old Izzy fights because I caught up on the embeddeds.
Right.
And then the fights finally, like this we had a tournament, but like the fights finally start, and I'm just, dude, glued to the fucking
Yeah.
And,
Tunnel vision.
yeah, and if it's a really, really, really good card, and you guys will understand this too, I'm watching all of it. Early prelims,
Yeah. All of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
prelims, main card.
My ass is glued to that seat.
Yeah, it's very much like a Sunday, like an NFL Sunday day. Like I'm watching
Right.
all the football. Leave me alone. And
Yeah.
again, once I step in the game room, I sit down. The fights are on. Don't ask me for shit. Don't text me. Don't call me.
Yeah.
So my day consists of just getting ready for the fights. Like
Yeah.
I agree.
emotionally
Mentally
too.
preparing yourself.
Because I brought this up the
Yeah.
last time we talked. When your favorite fighter is fighting in the main event, you get that feeling like here in the stomach, and you're just
Yeah.
like, dude, like
Get those
almost like,
butterflies.
oh, I want to be
Like I'm about to have a heart attack.
but I love it.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. So
When I was at Chase's house for the Stipe fight, like I mean, I chew tobacco. I'm like really respectful when I go to someone's house for the first time, and like I won't do it unless someone like sees it in my hand and like says, "Oh yeah, you're good. You can go ahead and do that."
Start shaking
I
and shit.
I asked like I'm not like I don't like get all like weird if I don't have a dip in or whatever, but like I was so fucking nervous for that fight. I was shaking so bad, and I asked Chase's mom, I was like, "Hey, do you care if I chew?" And she's like, "Oh no, you're good. You could have done that like hours ago." And I was like,
What
"Thank
fight
God."
what Stipe fight were you over for?
3.
For what?
The third one, the Ngannou.
PC? Oh no, the Ngannou.
Ngannou. Or 2, whatever it was. Ngannou.
Yeah, Ngannou too.
But yeah, I was like,
No, I think it was the first thing on it, but either way,
no, it was the one where he lost.
that's another
I don't
thing
wanna-
too.
I don't wanna
I-
talk about it.
But like
I-
I was so fucking nervous for that fight. I was like literally sitting there shaking. My legs were shaking. I was sweating.
Yeah.
And shit.
I don't,
Like,
I don't
know
want
it
to.
was the second one.
I don't want to rip on anybody, because we're gonna be doing this podcast for a long time. When McGregor fought Poirier and we were all at Pat's house,
yeah.
as the fight got closer, Pat started yelling at his dog a little bit more. It was like the color.
dude.
He was like, "Get
Yeah,
down!"
Get the fuck out of here.
I was like, "Dude, she's good. Like, she's just licking my wife. Like, she's cool." And he's
Yeah,
like, "No, she's not allowed up there." I'm like, okay, bro.
Oh yeah, I was just like, yeah, it's game time.
Dude,
See, I love
Yeah.
Pat. I love Pat's dog, and he knows I love his dog. But like, even when she was coming over to me, get the fuck away from him. I'm like, oh, sorry, sorry.
Here's the thing. I love my
Don't lay
dog.
that low.
My dog doesn't know boundaries. Like, he's snoot to face 24/7, and if you yell at him,
It's a
he's
true
like,
dog.
hey, "Listen, I've got a dog on me, bro." Like,
Yeah.
No,
Dog's
the
not
reason
easy.
But
the reason your dog's like that to you because your dog knows you don't have the dog in you.
yeah.
dude, I got such a dog.
We got
in
any
me,
other-
bro.
He could smell a fraud.
Every-
We got any other
No.
questions?
Every time I
Yeah,
say
what's
I'm
some other questions?
every time I say I'm an alpha, I get yelled at. So that was the build up to the fight. That was the build up to the fight night. We do a lot. This is 3rd episode already. We talk a lot UFC. I want to talk outside the UFC.
Hold on. Hold
Okay,
on.
yeah.
Are we still in the questions mode, or what are we doing?
It's still question. We're still question.
Okay.
question.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
a question I wrote down because there's a lot of MMA outside of the UFC. There's Bellator, there's PFL, there's Invicta, other weird like smaller organizations, and the UFC
5v1.
5v1, yeah. And there's other boxing event,
Mhm.
other casual MMA shit. So, do you guys? I do personally. I watch all the MMA I can. I watch Bellator, PFL, all of it. Do you guys? Not really a fan of, but do you tune in when it's on?
Yeah, I do.
I tune in. I don't get big into PFL. Bellator, I'll watch Bellator. I follow definitely the UFC and then Bellator. I follow them too for sure. The rest of the stuff, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it, but I'm not 100% into it like I am those two.
Yeah. Fish?
I'm the same way. Like,
Yeah.
I'm more UFC, and if there's like a fight that interests me in Bellator, I'll watch it. PFL, I watched it a couple times, just because there were some interesting fights that I seen, and like I see some highlights of people fighting. I was like, this is okay. I guess I gotta watch this. I watched one championship one time, and that was Mighty Mouse against whoever the hell it was. I forget.
One's
And
actually
I
doing
was
really well.
I was like really confused because the first round was MMA,
Mm-hmm.
the second round was Muay Thai, third round MMA, fourth round Muay Thai, and then like the fifth round was whatever. And I was like, this is weird, but it was a good fight. I can't lie, it was a good fight. And they do a lot of good things, and I've been kind of getting more interested in one championship because they have MMA, Muay Thai, I think kickboxing,
Yeah, and
and then
jujitsu.
they got jujitsu, and I think they do like an MMA / boxing kind of thing too.
So, go ahead, Chase.
Wait, real quick, Matt, for boxing, I just want to throw this out there. So, May 20th, local fighter from the area who
Rosenberg.
Danny Rosenberger is fighting Nico Ali Walsh, Muhammad Ali's grandson, May 20th in Las Vegas.
On the Lomachenko
So-
undercard, right?
It's not Lomachenko, or I don't. At least I
Oh,
don't
it
think.
was.
But either way, I forget the main event. But yeah, local fighter, guy that I've trained with and whatnot, and Danny Rosenberger fighting Nico Ali Walsh May 20th in Las Vegas. So that's a big time fight, and I'm excited. And don't be surprised, Team Rosenberger. Just want to
Hometown boy.
throw some support for my
Hope he does
for my
it.
guy.
Which is
He does
nuts.
too.
Does it.
It's nuts that Chase says that. May 19th, I'm going to punch Chase in his fucking face.
Real quick, Chase, what was the date? May
May
20th?
20th.
Yeah.
That is the Lomachenko undercard. Lomachenko versus Haney.
Save the
Okay.
date. Save
So-
the
That's
date.
big.
With,
big time, man.
With that big, and I texted Chase this the other day watching the Caleb Plant fight. Dude, boxing, listen. If you're listening, boxing, start your
And
shit
just
at 3
boxing.
p.m. Yeah, just
Yeah.
boxing overall.
Just
I don't want to
boxing.
be up
I
till 6
can't-
a.m. watching a fucking
Yeah,
boxing card.
I'm not doing it anymore.
Right.
Boxing does a
But-
poor job promoting their fights.
Davis versus Garcia. How massive.
That's
About
a big
time.
fight. That's a
Yeah.
big fight.
That needs to be promoted more.
I mean, you got two killers fighting each other,
Two dogs.
and one's like the fucking Flash.
Two dogs, yeah.
About
Two
time.
dogs.
Yes, two dogs. Two
Brian,
dogs.
two
100%.
dogs?
Two dogs. I confirm 2 dogs. 100%.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm not a boxing fan. Like I don't follow boxing like I follow MMA. I follow MMA. You're not going to tell me MMA news I don't know outside of Chase.
Right.
Tell me about the Cosmo fight.
Did you know I was fighting this weekend?
Are you fighting this weekend?
So you didn't know that
I
news.
thought that was May 19th. But
No, you didn't.
so, anyways, huge fight. I just hope it delivers. Every time the boxing world builds up a fight like this, it goes to decision and it's boring.
The problem with boxing is compared to UFC or MMA in general. In boxing, people duck one another. The best don't fight the best. There's too many belts. There's too many weight classes. It's all just a giant cluster. It's hard to follow. And it just gets, at some point in time, it just becomes like, all right, I'm over it
Yeah.
as a fan. So, but questions. What else we got?
So one more question, because I was built off this. Do you guys watch MMA outside the UFC? And we all watch Bellator. We agreed on that. We all,
Yeah.
so
Right.
Kind of tune into Bellator.
Yep.
Are their champions just as good as UFC champions, or are they
No.
just the B League?
They're the B League.
Oof.
They're the B League. I'm just going to come out and say the truth. They're the B League. There's no hesitation there. Name me a champion from Bellator that can beat a champion in the UFC.
Michael
I-
Chandler Raw looking at you.
I think they're 145.
Michael Chandler's in the UFC.
Now he
Hmm?
is. But he
Yeah.
went to
Now.
he went to the UFC off a loss. Remember that he
Right.
lost to Brent Primus. I will say they're 145. They have a double champion. He's 145, 155. I think at 145, I think Patricio Pitbull beats UFC's 145 champ.
Volkanovski?
I think
Volkanovski?
I think so. He's tough, man.
No.
Tough dude.
I was there in person. I
No.
watched Brian Ortega choke that man to his fucking grave.
No.
This
Telling
guy
ya.
from Bellator is not going to come over here and beat my boy.
I think Volkanovski is the best fighter on the planet.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I think he's the best pound for pound fighter. I think he's number one.
He
You
just
want
lost.
to know what else? Go
What's
ahead.
that?
I have a lot of respect for Pitbull and Bellator, like you said, 155, 145-pound champ. Tough. Volkanovski will put the muzzle on the Pitbull. Volkanovski will hurt that man.
And you
That
want to know why?
No way, man. I'm sorry, man. I disagree.
Bishop,
Bishop,
why?
Bishop,
why?
why?
Why will Volk do it?
Why, Bishop?
Because fucking Volkanovski's got that dog in him, dude.
He's got
He's
that
got that fucking
Yeah.
dog in him.
That is an Australian juggernaut. My
He's
man,
got that
I'm
dog
gonna use
in
my
him.
saying, as my saying with Volkanovski, he comes out to Men at Work and whoops your ass. That's it.
Oh, dude, that's
I
my
don't
favorite thing.
Actually, this is good. I actually had one question that I didn't get to, but this is a perfect segue into it. Talking about pound for pound rankings. I was asked this question, and I think it's a very, very good one. It's gonna get a lot of opinions. Is Izzy higher up on your GOAT list than Khabib?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
I
We'll
think
make this
Izzy.
quick.
Go ahead.
Izzy's fought more well-known people and defended his belt more, I think.
Izzy, yes. You
No.
wanna know why? Here's my opinion on it. Before we get started,
Good.
Khabib's not famous for being Khabib. Khabib's famous for fighting Connor.
That's fair. I actually agree with
Khabib-
you on that.
Habib has lost one round in his whole career.
Yeah.
That's
No.
fine.
He's
I
not.
think you look at the level of competition he faced up until his last 5 fights.
But here's the thing.
I think that's where it goes.
Khabib has never lost a round. Neither have I. Am I the GOAT?
He lost one round. He lost one round to Conor McGregor.
Chael Sonnen never lost a round.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chael
Chael
Sonnen
Sonnen.
lost her.
But you.
I mean, even when he tapped, he just thought that was
he did.
That was the end of the round.
I think it's close. I think you can make the argument for either guy. But if I had to pick right now who I think is the greater fighter all time, I'm going to roll with Habib, and it is razor thin. It's razor thin because I think Adesanya is right now he's top 5 in the world. Adesanya, in my opinion, it's him and Anderson as the 2 best middleweights of all time. It's razor thin. I'm going to go with Habib.
I think Khabib ended his career way too soon to tell if he could be the best or not.
Okay.
Yeah, because he didn't start fighting like ranked guys until his last like 5 or 6 fights.
7 fights, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where for me I'm putting Izzy ahead of him,
I'll put Izzy.
and I'm excited to see the comments on this clip when this goes up because this is going to get a lot of opinions and it's
Yeah.
going to be a heated argument, and I'm excited for it.
I'll say I'll put Izzy above there, but I'll also say this about Khabib. A lot of people always said that he was just a wrestler, but that dude's got some fucking dynamite hands. And yeah, he might throw a little wild, but he's actually like aiming at you like pretty
Well, it's 'cause
fucking accurately.
his wrestling sets up everything because people when he feinted the takedown and landed the overhand on McGregor. I mean, that was
Big
just,
wrestling move.
yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier, Cain Velasquez, all the big time wrestlers, Randy Couture, Dan Henderson.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a faint overhand.
if you look
Yep.
at him versus Poirier, I mean, Poirier fucking bopped him real
Dude,
good.
that
And he just-
guillotine
he
was
just
so
came in.
close.
He just came in head down, just swinging at him, but they were all like calculated shots at Poirier's head.
I love.
It's
the
all just his
guillotine's
type of
my
takedown.
favorite submission. I love the guillotine. I could go. Where is it at? Hold
Yeah, I
on.
remember when I
like
dropped
the
on
arm
conscious with the
triangle.
guillotine.
I like
What
the
do
arm
you-
triangle.
I love the guillotine. All right.
Oh, I thought that was something else. It looked like it's something else.
No, love the guillotine.
But
Just hit out his gutter. It's casual couch.
yeah.
I got some
My head was in the gutter.
Oh, Pat's got a question or two.
I got some
ahead.
questions. I'm
Run
on my
'em.
Facebook page. I posted, people are watching the show, friends of mine on here. I'm gonna name who they are to ask a question. So we'll make this real quick, guys. Make this
Run it.
quick. And my friend Jordan Bronca had a good question. Who will be the welterweight champ going into 2024?
Colby Covington.
170. Matt?
Oh, you said Colby?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Gilbert.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Gilbert
Bishop.
Burns.
I mean, I think Leon Edwards will beat Colby Covington, And I think if he fights Gilbert Burns, he'll beat him. So I'm gonna go Leon.
Okay.
Pat, where you at?
Pat?
I'm gonna rock with Colby Covington.
All right.
Next question, friend of mine, Anthony Siraki. You know, we've answered this, but just real quickly, does Colby Covington deserve a title shot? Chase?
I don't think he's the most deserving in the division. No.
I'm gonna go straight up no.
Bishop?
I am on the same page now.
I'm gonna say I'm tossed up, but I'm gonna say yes. I think he does.
I want to say this. I would love to see Colby Covington be the champ. That would be amazing.
I would too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So many people
all
are
right.
pissed off. I love it.
Yeah.
Then Anthony's brother Naz Siraki came up with a good one. What do you guys think is next for Alex Pereira?
205.
Chase?
I think Dana denies him the trilogy. He moves up to 205, fights Yuri Prochazka.
Robert Whitaker.
I'm with Chase. Prohaska.
Prochazka wants the fight. And that's another thing. Prochazka eats a lot of shots. I think Pereira beats him.
Yeah.
He's a big ass dude.
Who's Jamal Hill gonna fight next?
Well, Prochazka he chose to vacate the belt because of his injury because he didn't want to hold up the division.
Right.
So I would assume I thought
It'll
that
be
would
Hill.
be the fight when he comes back. Yeah.
Hill and Prohaska. Go ahead.
But Prochazka was calling Alex out at 205, so I don't know.
Can I say one quick thing?
Go ahead.
I really respect what Prohaska did there. He wasn't holding up the division with
that's
his
awesome.
injury.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Unlike
Yeah.
another guy that we
Yeah,
all
for sure.
unlike another guy we know, Francis Ngannou.
But,
Two fights as a champion.
Way to diss him.
Yeah.
I can see I can see either Pereira gets Jamal Hill for the title shot, or if Prohaska's ready, could be Prohaska. I could see that happening.
What a world.
I don't see the trilogy happening.
What an MMA world if Prohaska fights Pereira, Pereira wins, and Izzy fights Jamal Hill, and Izzy wins, and we get that fight at 205.
Yeah,
What a
we get
world.
we get the trilogy there. That would be something.
Dude, the
Yeah.
storytelling.
The final fight at
Storytelling.
205, that would be pretty wild.
And
Next
next
one.
question, a friend of mine, Jason Hendricks. What's next for Kevin Holland if Masvidal remains retired? I do want to say something real quick that caught me. Did Masvidal truly say that he's done? Because I never heard him once say, "I'm retired. I'm done."
No,
He
said-
never
yeah.
put his. Well, he made a statement. He made a statement afterwards, but he never put his gloves down. If someone pointed that out.
He made it very clear, like the way he was talking,
Yeah.
the way he was phrasing it. He's done with the UFC. He does own his own fight organization, a boxing organization.
Yes.
Game bred boxing, yeah.
He may fight in that. What's next for Holland?
I think it's a top 10 match. It's maybe a top 10 or maybe like a
Holland
top
won,
15
Holland's
matchup.
170, right?
Yeah, I think he's
Yes.
staying there because he was jumping. And that's another thing. He was jumping back and forth between welterweight and middleweight. He couldn't pick a weight class. Now I think he's found his home at 170. He's got a new focus. I think you give him a top 10 matchup.
I
I mean,
can see a top 10.
at welterweight,
What
let
are
me
the
see the
rankings?
rankings real quick. That's what I'm gonna check.
He's
right
not
now.
even ranked.
No, he's
He's
not.
not.
Holland's son. What about
Thought he was ranked.
Vicente Luque?
I was just about to say that. That's a fun fight, man.
Holland
That's a
versus
really
Luque.
fun-
That's my pick. I'm gonna go Holland Luque.
I like that.
That's a fun
I'll
fight.
double down. That's a
Fun
great
for
fight.
everybody.
Luque's never been in a boring fight.
And the last question I have, friend of mine, Zach Dinishak. Jones versus Stipe. Do we think the fight's gonna happen?
All right, hang on. I'm running with this because I told you on Saturday. I said this. I don't think this fight's gonna happen. I think either. Well, we heard that John Jones has been MIA since he won. No one's heard from him, and this fight still hasn't been announced. Jones said he wants Stipe. Stipe wants Jones. It's no secret that Dana White does not like Stipe, and I think they're trying to lowball him on the. I think they're trying to lowball him on the contract again, like they did before.
Yes.
And I do not think we see Stipe and Jones. I don't think we see it. Even though that's a fight. That's for Jones. Who else? That's the only fight at heavyweight. That's it.
I think
Right.
I think we see Jones Stipe. I think they're keeping it under wraps for right now. I think we see it. I know you guys are all Stipe fans. I think we see Jones take him out, and then he rides off into the sunset with the most infamous career ever. And that's it.
Okay.
That's
Chris, what do you
just my
think?
opinion as a fight
No,
fan,
I
not
can
as
see
a
that. I can
Northeast
see that.
Ohio citizen, as a fight fan. That's what I think happens. I think they're keeping a lot of shit from us right now. I think that fight has been signed and agreed to.
You could be right. I hope you're right. I want to see that fight.
Bishop?
Well, according to Stipe's last medical exam that he posted on his Instagram, he's got that dog in him. So
God damn it! I didn't know that.
so I'm gonna have to say
That was so good.
Hey, you look so confused when I said the medical exam thing. Like,
I was
you're
like, why
scared.
would you? Why would I care? I watched that. I was like, why would I care about his last medical exam? This fight's gonna happen in July.
I mean, like you said, Chase, that it's no secret that Dana White doesn't like Stipe because he
Right.
came in and smashed the fuck out of DC. So there's that.
He foiled his plan to get Fedor in the UFC. Me and Pat talked about that.
Yeah. I'm kind of with Matt too. I feel like they just kind of like secretly have a thing going on, and they're just trying to like get a build up to this fight. Like, yeah, John Jones has been MIA. Where the fuck is he? Stipe's looking for him. Can't find him anywhere. And I think, I mean, in my heart, I want it to happen, and I want Stipe to come in and beat John Jones. And like, I like John Jones. I respect John Jones, and just like his personal stuff. I don't like what he's done. But like as a fighter, I like John Jones. But I love Stipe. And I want Stipe to come in, get his belt back, and if he feels that that's it for him and he wants to retire,
he wins. He retires. The winner loses his last fight.
Yeah, right off into the sunset and call it a career. I mean, he's got one of the best heavyweight careers,
greatest heavyweight of all time.
So Pat,
he's got that dog in him.
I'm the dog. I'm really torn on this. A part of me wants to believe that, like you said, Matt, there's a lot of hush. We don't know a lot about what's going on. And maybe they're just, building this up. The other part of me, I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm split. I'm so torn on this. Because the other part of me is going, Jones is MIA. Yeah, he had a little tweet, this and that. Jones, like, I haven't heard nothing. Stipe said, see you in July. But nothing's been signed. Nothing's been official. Are they lowballing Stipe again? Like what Chase brought up.
100%.
What's going on? This is one of the biggest fights they can make right now, and it's already April. We haven't heard anything.
It's supposed to be for July, and
It's supposed to be for International Fight Week. And
like I said,
July
they're probably doing this just to build that, because I mean it's already going to be a big fight regardless.
Oh yeah,
as soon as they announced this fight and they put the tickets for pre-sale, it's going to be gone in a matter of seconds.
This
But
will be the biggest heavyweight fight in MMA history.
Yes. And
yes.
If it's pre-sale for July, pre-sale goes live like the end of this month or early May. So like this fight has to. They booked Yair Rodriguez and Volk. That's a good enough fight to be a main event on any card.
Right.
So I just don't. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't trust John Jones. I don't trust him. I've seen him. Just he's the best fighter of all time. I think he is, but outside of the cage, I just don't trust him. I don't trust him being there.
Let me throw this scenario out there. We've talked about how Dana, the UFC, might not like Stipe. What if